Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ. Welcome back here. 10:41, little bit of change on this 24th day of August. Yeah, it's August. It's so hot. It's I'm losing track. I'm losing track of so much this morning. Is it warming up pretty good out there?
It was, I think, 78 at 6 o'clock this morning.
I think it's about 87 now.
Well, what's crazy is I saw something on Facebook, and I'm never really on there. I just kind of go through and perfect example of the weather today. It said we're at hell's front porch of the season. pretty much felt like it. Well, and too, we're at this part of the journey of Absolute Healthcare where we're celebrating 20 years.
Yes.
Debra Ross and Hazel in studio. Hazel Morgan, I haven't seen you in so many. Hazel and I have probably seen each other a couple of times, North Alton Godfrey.
Right.
And I go, I got to say hi to Hazel. And then it's always getting caught up in the rush.
Right.
I get to say hi now. How are we?
Doing great.
Well, and what I think's cool is when we get to celebrate a business, and just like this, 20 years is not an easy feat in any industry, especially when it comes into healthcare. And, Debra, right off the bat, how do you feel 20 years in? Things are looking pretty good, huh?
I'm still very blessed to do what I love to do and I'm very passionate about. So, every day I go to work, I love it. So,
yeah.
After 20 years, I'm still not bored or tired of it, so
well,
I love it. I love it.
Well, and take me through. So 20 years ago, when you were thinking about this idea, what was the initial thought? Was it Absolute Healthcare, or was it a different business at first?
No, I actually was a Medicare home health nurse doing home visits, and my specialty was wound care. Worked for another agency, and a lot of the girls I was supervising weren't happy, so everyone started leaving. So I got a phone call one night, and they said, "Hey, Deb, why don't you start your own business?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't do that." And they're like, "Well, why not?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So thus began the journey to start Absolute Healthcare Services.
No, I got to ask you, did your family or anyone have business experience before that point, or was this the first?
Not really.
Okay.
My dad did have an auto parts business years ago, and my grandfather worked at Hofert Dodge.
Okay.
Some people remember that, but not actually being a business owner.
So take me through the first couple of months of that. That's why I was asking. So when I had my business 8 years ago, before I partnered it up, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. You just kind of you think you do. Well, I thought I did. I didn't know a darn thing. When you're launching this, what's the first couple of months?
Actually, mine went really well.
Really?
Because I had already
experience,
contacts in the community. So when we started the business, we were getting calls and referrals right away. So it really took off pretty quick. I started the office in my basement, and then went to the Honky building, was there for a few months, and then my dad found the current building, and we purchased that, and that's history.
How long ago did you, because you've been at that location for quite a while now.
16, 17 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and too, what I think is just really cool is right off the bat, we're talking, and I, do a little bit of research and just look, and, everything I see, the one big thing is your mission for why you do this. And that's because, the quote is amazing. Our cause is your care. And now take me through that. What does that really mean for you?
Well, when you're providing services for someone, it's not only just going in there and helping them with personal care or housekeeping. There's a lot more that's involved in that.
Yeah.
So we advocate in every aspect of their care. So
well, and too, just from my family that, do work in the healthcare field, there's so many other external factors at play when you're taking care of somebody, like, maybe, and I hate to bring these up, but if someone's being taken advantage of financially and you're kind of being on a lookout in case something's not seeming too right and staying up to date. There's so many things that you guys are, constantly kind of monitoring that no one really realizes.
Oh, absolutely. And hiring a licensed caregiver is the best way to go, because they are insured, they're bonded, they're fingerprinted, they have healthcare worker registry, we do training. Someone hiring somebody privately, they don't have all that protection.
Yeah.
So it's always best to go with a licensed agency.
But you have to be on top of all those other needs.
Yeah.
You know, you might see somebody else coming in, and maybe a family member, maybe a neighbor, somebody else, and you have to know who to refer them out to. And, you know, they have to be on top of all that, and they are.
Yeah, without a doubt.
They are.
And Hazel, I wanted to ask you too, when did you come in with Absolute Healthcare?
1 year this month.
No kidding. So how did this come about?
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, we're all celebrating. 20 and 1.
Right, there you go.
How did your guys' relationship start?
Well, I started going into Una Smith, for AMRT, formerly known as Una Smith.
Got it.
And Hazel and I developed a relationship.
A long time ago, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it just kind of was a...
So I was there 22 years and retired, and I was just not happy.
Really?
I was bored, yes. So Deb called me one day and said, let's go to lunch, and here we are.
A year later, here we are. Well, and that's, you know what's so funny? I always hear people tell me that. They go, well, I retired. I didn't realize how awful it was. I got to keep moving. I got to keep working.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, you know, Debra, on top of that, take us through having Hazel on the team. You know, how's that been? How's that addition?
Oh, it's been wonderful. She's amazing. She makes sure everybody's taken care of, and she advocates for everybody.
Yep.
And it's the little things, the little details. You know, taking a birthday card and a birthday cake or a bouquet, or if they just wish they could get a shake, Hazel will go by and get them a shake, you know, and take it to them. So it's the little things and the other areas that she addresses that says a lot.
Well, you're absolutely right, because, you know, when my grandpa was going through the final chapter, and, you know, we were going through the hospice and all of that, you know, all those things, the one thing that he always said was, you know, I don't care, I can't eat anything, but I do want a chocolate shake. You know, I want this, and
Right.
I want to be able to go to Ranch House or at least once and do
Absolutely.
And, you know, it took a village. You know, my mom and dad bringing them out to Ranch House, my aunt contributing, myself, you know, going over and making sure you can go outside, because at that stage, you know, there's very little left.
Absolutely.
Go outside and have a cigarette. You know, what the heck?
Exactly.
You know?
That's the thing. You're not only addressing the client's needs, you're really also engaging the family and assisting them and guiding them, you know, and supporting them too. So it's
without a doubt, and not to cut you off, but I have one last bill to pay. It's $10.48, and we're going to talk about being voted best of the best. All the you know, the reasons, the testimonials. I mean, they speak for themselves about why you guys have been able to maintain for 20 years and why you keep growing. We'll take a quick break. It's 10:49 on this 24th day of August. More of our conversation with Absolute Healthcare, 20 years in the making. After this.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible. Covering auto, home, business, and life insurance, our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you. For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Munganast Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Munganast Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good. Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back. 10:51 on this 24th day of August. It's a Thursday right here in the heart of the 618. Hazel, Debra, and Absolute Healthcare in studio with us. You know, before I go into your services, I just want to point out to have an A+ rating with the BBB is a pretty big deal right now.
Thank you.
The reason being is I don't think folks at home realize the Better Business Bureau changed their guidelines on everything because there was so much fraud being done.
Yes.
There used to be almost a pay scale type of thing. Now it's going strictly off of the reporting and, you know, the overall care and cause that your company does. To be rated A+ right now is pretty cool. I mean, that shows something.
Thank you.
And another thing I wanted to ask you about, and I don't know if it's okay or not to do, but I was looking at one of your brochures and just during the break, and this to me is going to hit home. When I brought my mother home from the hospital, I had no idea what turns our life would take. When the hospice social worker told me that I would need help, she gave me a listing of agencies. I chose Absolute, and I'm so thankful I did. When Debra came to our house to discuss our needs, she was so professional, compassionate, and kind. I knew right then I'd chosen the right agency. I'm so grateful for the help that your agency provided. My mother had wonderful care right up until the time she passed. And I'll always be so thankful for that. Your staff helped me get through some very difficult times, and I will look back on this month and know my mother was treated with so much love, compassion, and dignity, and had the very best care, and that will comfort me for the rest of my life. I mean, that alone. I'm looking at that.
I get teary-eyed hearing it because
I'm going through the testimonials on the back, which are great to see, but I mean, that one there, whenever you can sit there and there's no bigger guilt than, I'm sure, than somebody that maybe didn't pass on their own terms for a family member, knowing maybe mom wanted to be home instead of passing in a hospital.
Right.
You know, that can really plague somebody for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. Yes.
And for someone to know they can go to bed resting easy because mom was taken care of.
Peace of mind.
Absolutely. And
That's huge.
I want to shout out for my staff because our staff is what makes this all possible. We have an amazing, beautiful, loving, caring staff. Girls have been with me 20 years. They go above and beyond, and they're devoted.
And it speaks volumes. I mean, it really does. And if it's okay, I wanted to ask you more about some of the services you provide. There's a list of them, but I think it's important to highlight them because it shows more about who you guys are as a company, but also what your guys' role is for the patient. Because, you know, unless you really go through it, you don't really have an understanding of what all of this encompasses.
Right.
And so with that being said, I wanted to ask you about the level of cares, because there's level 1, there's level 2s, and there's level 3s. Take me through the 3 levels if you could.
Well, one is independent of ADLs. And, you know, they are able to walk around. They're cognitive.
Okay.
They can perform most of their personal care and household cares. Level 2, assistance with ADLs. If they use a walker, a wheelchair, things like that, they would be like a standby assist. Level 3 is impairment of all ADLs. So they need a total care.
Okay. And now just for me, just so I can put 2 and 2 together here, because I feel like I'm punch drunk from Mike Tyson. I don't know if it's the heat or what, but I'm confused. All day, all morning.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I said it was Tuesday when I got on the air today. I wanted to know because just on a more serious note, is this level 1? Is that is this all for palliative care or end of life, or is this level 1 and all that different?
No,
correct?
no.
Just so I can put that together.
No, this is for people who live at home, live independently.
Gotcha.
But need a little assistance with, doing their laundry.
Perfect.
I'm sorry. If they're independent, they do all that, but they might need medication reminders, things like that.
Gotcha. That's what I was trying to put together because I'm
Sometimes
going.
transportation.
Cool.
Right, transportation. Exactly.
Now, okay, I was on the same page.
Yes.
Just for a second here, I
Yes.
was like, maybe I'm thinking of something differently. But no, I am not. That's what I think is cool.
Yes.
Because I was going through and going, wow, I mean, talk about really caring for somebody through all the stages of whatever they need. I mean, whether it's medicine reminders, that's huge.
Right.
I mean, that is massive.
It really is.
And take me through some of those personal services and all the other, devices and all the things that you contribute to your clients, if that's okay.
Sure. So we're actually licensed as a home services and non-medical. So we have RNs, LPNs, CNAs. We have companions, sitters. So we can cover a big scope of services being dual licensed. Most agencies are just licensed under one, the home services.
Yeah.
So we provide personal services. We assist with ambulation, monitoring devices. That has become more of a need. People have the monitors, the automatic monitors in their homes. So our girls assist them with that and recording things like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. So, and the O2, the blood pressure, pulse, respirations, things like that. Companionship is social, physical.
That's a big one.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. And mental activities. Communication with family, friends, community. Reading, taking walks, drives. We have one client that we literally take up to Grafton to get a fish sandwich every week. So that's what he likes. The sitters is, it's not really hands-on care. It's just for supervision and companionship. Respite care is for a family member needing, if they're going to go on vacation or something, they'll call us in, and that's how that's what they refer to that to.
Wow.
We do transportation, we do meal planning, preparation, house care, laundry, and even, of course, pet care.
That's a very important component.
Absolutely,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
Well, and I mean, when you go through all of these different items and all these different responsibilities, I mean, to me, your services are invaluable. You can't put a price tag on them,
Right.
Because for a family that, especially a working family that might, maybe it's a daughter and a son, but the daughter has 4 children, the son has 2 jobs. How do we take care of mom and dad? How do we make sure that their house is still moving and they're able to live in their own home if that's what they want to do?
Key.
Absolutely. And I'm very cost conscious.
Yeah.
So we'll get a call and someone will say, well, I need a nurse all day long, for 12 hours. And I'm like, you really don't need a nurse. CNA will be sufficient. And the cost is going to be less to you. So, and then there's some agencies that require so many hours a week, so
Yes.
many days. We do not.
There's no minimum.
No. So,
That's really cool, because that to me, I think, is what gets people frustrated sometimes. It's like, well, I don't need you for 6 hours
Absolutely.
or a minimum of 3. I just need you for 40 minutes.
Exactly. And that's why we created, for that reason too, we created bath and mini visits.
Oh, wow.
So if someone doesn't need us for 2 hours, and they need just assistance with a bath, we go in and do a bath and then we leave. It's like a Medicare visit. So
that is so cool.
And yeah. So.
Well, and I just think this is just incredible. And with that being said, Hazel, whenever you're working with, and you've worked at Unismith and for a pretty long time, for 22 years,
right?
What do you think is the main reason that Absolute's still going strong? Because with your experience in the industry, in the field, I mean, I'm sure you've seen a company or two and seen the journeys in for some.
Yes, there's been a couple that started recently and just were not successful, but Deb was there when a lot of people weren't.
Yeah.
There were not a lot of home care agencies around, so word of mouth and the job that she does, it's just, they're very well known.
Yeah.
So people call and they want information and wanting referrals, and word of mouth is good, best of the best. The Better Business Bureau, all of that, and the fact that they're all licensed and trained and you can count on them.
Yeah. I mean, to me, talk about an endorsement. I couldn't give one much better. And that's,
Right.
I think, whenever, to hear that from you, Hazel, as someone that's seen it happen and seen the changes and been a part of the field, that to me speaks volumes and goes, I think I'll work for you, Deb. I think Debra, I'm going to work for you. And then a year later, your guys are teaming up, and it seems like it's a pretty good employment opportunity, huh, Hazel?
Absolutely.
And just because we always get somebody that asks, are you currently looking for any more employees?
Absolutely.
Are you? Oh, wow. What's the number to call if someone's interested in a job?
618-466-1010.
That's my text line. I'm telling you, it's almost like I can think for him at this point in time.
That's what?
So with that being said, Absolute Health Care Services voted best of the best. And number one thing that I want you guys to take away of is they're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no additional charge for nights or weekends because it's just your job.
Exactly.
That's one thing I think is so cool about everything you do is there's so many companies that do these micro charges and these, service fees, and you got to do a minimum of 4 hours. And why? I mean, you signed up for it. No one forced you to own a home services business.
In our business, people only need us when they need us. That's it. And when they don't, we're not there. We don't. They create their schedule. They create the time. They create the days of the week. So the only charge, we have 6 holidays that is time and a half. Other than that, everything.
Well, and what I like is they're actually the holidays. It's not, the state holidays. It's when the bank's closed. That's when normal, that's whenever you guys have that extra little bit of a charge, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, Debra, congratulations on the 20 years. How are you guys celebrating it?
Well, I know we're going to have cake. That I do know. And the girls, they want sandwiches and stuff like that. So it's very hard to have a big event somewhere because the girls are all over and their hours are. So we are going to have a big party at the office for them. So. And
for more information, how can people reach out to utilize your services or just to learn more about Absolute Healthcare?
Yeah, they can just call 618-466-1010.
I was just quizzing you to see if you remember the phone number.
That number I do remember.
Or for more information, ahcsllc.com.
Is that their website?
Mm-hmm.
Currently under construction.
Oh, okay, well.
So sorry for that, but they were just working on it last night, so.
That's just a tease to stay tuned for the website.
Exactly.
618-466-1010. Girls, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, CJ.
Appreciate it.
Anytime you want to come back on, if you have more services or things to talk about, you're more than welcome to. And once again, just congratulations on the 20 years.
Thank you.
And congratulations
on
the
girls
year.
also.
Absolutely.
Yes.
A big shout out to your staff.
Yes.
11:03, and actually, I kept you guys a little bit way too long. Sorry, I overshot the clock again. 11:03, but I'll see you back here tomorrow live at 9 as we wrap up the week that was in downtown Alton. So on that note, have a good one, stay cool, stay in the shade, and just try your best to stay out of jail.